What is up, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Just gonna do kind of a walk around video today. If you guys saw my shorts over the weekend, been working on kind of a new layout for the shop here. So originally I had this workbench here, and this workbench was actually turned all the way around and was in that corner. This workbench is pretty deep. It's like 42 maybe inches long. Let's see, get a measure here. Yeah, just over 42 inches wide, I should say, and it's 8 foot long. So this is 8 foot long. That's 7 foot long, and that's 8 foot long. But this being so deep, I was struggling to reach stuff off the pegboard, and it was just kind of not working out for me. Now, this pegboard was here when I bought the house, and kind of a downside of this one is there's no actual spacing off the wall. The one that I installed has some, you know, half-inch material behind it that you can kind of see through here that keeps it spaced off the wall, and it makes it much sturdier. This one just kind of, you can see it just kind of flaps around. So that needs some help, and I'm planning on working on that at some point. But so I don't really use that pegboard too much anyways, but this was there, and I was kind of wanting to change it up. One of the reasons is I want to be able to put the phone on the tripod and kind of do talking head videos this way, and I think this will make a much better background once I get everything cleaned up. So I can, you know, stand here, talk, and I can also be showing you guys stuff on this bench here. This is an old piece of a bowling alley, so if you kind of recognize that pattern, that is what that is. I had to make a couple of changes. I did have one of these woodworking vices right there, so that had to be removed. I moved the tool cart over here, and as of now, I don't know where I'm going to put this shelf yet, but I added shelving down to the bottom here, so I am going to be able to slide a bunch of tools in. And if you kind of look over here, I have a bunch of toolboxes and different things. That's a bunch of like electrical equipment and just random stuff that I'm planning on taking most of this and kind of filtering it in and putting it under that shelf. I just built this workbench, but I'll get there in a second. But I added this shelf, so I'm planning on putting stuff under here. The added benefit of having this U shape now is when working on like a vehicle or something. Maverick wanted to say hi. Hey, Mav. You can kind of use this as a work area. So the plan is to keep this completely clear. And then I do have this roll cart, which will also be able to be used, and I kind of use that to paint on and whatnot. But that can be used for projects, and then this can be used. So you can actually have two people working, somebody on each side. And, you know, you still have plenty of room. Like if I'm standing here, you know, it's a full-on stretch to reach over to the other side. So you could have two people working, or, you know, side by side there. Lay your parts out if you're working on a car or old snowmobile or whatever. That's kind of the idea with that. Tool cart there. I did put the tool cart very briefly right here. It's just too tall. Like, as you can see, it sticks up higher, and I didn't really like it, but I might end up putting it back there just because that kind of gives me the option there to reach the tools a little easier from over here. But that's kind of old, not old, but miscellaneous tools that I don't need to grab at very often inside that cart. What I do get at a lot is the tools in this cart. And as you can see, it's just kind of a mess right now, but I've just been doing it all. Chloe says hi too. She's not sure why I'm talking to myself. But anyways, so that's the story with this bench. Probably will add that woodworking vise back in somewhere, just not quite sure where. I had that workbench designed to be against the wall, so now I have a stringer board that I have to do something about. I'll probably make this shelf kind of close, you know, sealed together, and actually fasten it to this crossbar. And I think that'll give me enough of a stringer effect that I could probably remove this, and then I can get it stuffed from both sides. And I'll probably end up cutting these attacher boards, just cut them a little further back just so that they don't stick out so much. And it probably won't look too bad if I do that. Could even put on some kind of face board. I kept a couple of sawhorses in here. It was a good place to store them, and then they're way easier to grab at than having to go out in the lean-to part out there to get at some of them. This I just bought like about $100 worth of 2x6s and 2x4s just to build this workbench and put a shelf there and a shelf there. I've been carting these legs around forever. I took them out of a job that I was doing. It's just a place that I was demoing stuff out, and they didn't want them, so I just, you know, kept those legs, and I've been carting them around waiting to use them for something. So now I had a reason. So I built this workbench. Just 8-footers, just full length 2x6s. I really just slapped it together. I just put a 2x4 on here, anchored that down with some timber screws, and just, you know, zip these in from the other side. So they're all attached good. They are obviously not going to be super weight bearing, just because, I mean, I could probably stand on here fine, but it is spanning 7 feet from leg to leg. And those are the, like, you know, the way that you don't want a board to be if you're trying to load weight on it. You can see the flex. Whereas these are like on end, so these can, you could put an engine on this because it's 2x4 on end. Yeah, so anyways, I threw that together. I put my dog up there, and he's 70 pounds. We kind of like to mess around with them. But I put him up there, and he was completely fine. I'm sure I could sit on it. I just don't really want to push it past its limit. Anyways, so I put these pack-out boxes here. I'm not sure that's where they'll live, but I've been screwing around with just kind of using this for different tapes. I'll probably end up just putting a nail right here or something so that when I pull on this, that doesn't happen. It doesn't just slide. But I do have some Milwaukee batteries in there, and I got a bunch of pack-out dividers and stuff. That's empty. Kind of just put it there for aesthetics at the moment. I don't know. I haven't figured out how I'm going to load it out. I do have this sound system speakers, so I got one speaker there. There's like the attachment. Here's the Bluetooth. And then there is that one right there. But I'm going to probably make that much better. So this will end up probably getting tucked back there. I have a Bluetooth attachment, and then I have an audio receiver that basically grabs the audio from my Apple TV and puts it into the sound system. So that kind of gives me a really nice surround sound, even though this TV is old and kind of sits in the corner. I'm planning on putting my speakers up kind of there, and then probably, you know, similar to where that one is now, but just mount it hard somewhere. Central vac, you guys have seen that probably already. I've got air hoses plumbed around here. This is a disaster just from moving everything around. Some organization, just kind of trying to make this all really useful. Maybe I'll end up adding a shelf here, but then it kind of defeats the place that I have for my trash can. I mean, this is all just kind of a overview. Maybe you guys have some good ideas. I do have this power strip, but I did pull a wire, a piece of 12.4 Romex around, so I can do 2 circuits through that. And basically the plan was to put probably a bank of 4 outlets there, another bank of 4 outlets there, another 4 there, and another 4 there, and kind of alternate circuits so that you could always have power. I'll probably do that. I do like this. Got this from Harbor Freight. I'll probably do a video on some tools I like from Harbor Freight, but that's been a really good power strip. But I've got this kind of janky right now. It's got a power strip to another power strip, and that's not asking for, you know, that's not the best idea. So probably we'll clean that all up. Just haven't got to it yet. Bought 100 lanyards because I use a bunch of ID badges for work. But anyways, that's kind of the layout. I want to try to make this more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to add more tools up here to make it look nice, and more maybe vintage tools. I got some just laying around. I don't know if you guys have any ideas. I'd love to paint this all and fix this lighting and everything, but you know, it's one step at a time. I got such a big shop, it's a lot to do, and I've also renovated my house, so it's just kind of expensive to be doing all this stuff all the time. But I really would like to work this shelf back into the mix. So if you guys have any ideas of how I can use it, and how I had been using it was, I had my electrical to-go bag, which is that bag right there, was living on that shelf. My carpentry bag, which is in the house right now because I've been doing trim, was on that shelf. And then my plumbing bag, which is that one, was kind of on the bottom. So I had this tiered system. And then that was my like can do everything bag, which I haven't fully loaded out, and I do plan on doing a video about. So if you haven't if you want to see that, consider subscribing. But I really want to work this shelf back in. So what I could do is put the shelf back where it was right there, move the toolbox over to the end, and that would be a okay solution. I just don't love it. Kind of the problem. I still don't even love this layout. It's just not perfect, but I do like all of the functional space because I got a 7-foot workbench, 8-foot workbench, and another 8-foot workbench with a lot of room to work around it. Kind of had to rig up dollies to move this workbench. This thing probably weighs, I don't even know, 500, 600, 700 pounds. That's some, I forget what this is. I want to say it's maple, but it is extremely heavy. Then you put those 2x4s on and the Fox shop legs. It's just a crazy amount of weight. Anyways, yeah, so I want to try to clean this up. I think I'm going to get rid of these shelves. These were here when I bought the place, and they're just janky. You know, clean up the gym, get this whole layout much better, but it's just a mess right now. I do like the layout of the gym here, but it'd be nice to kind of claim some of the space back. I got my 2 saws here. That Skidoo was right there, but I don't, it's just kind of sitting there, and I hate storing stuff, so that might end up getting delegated to the back. But anyways, that's what's going on. If you guys have any suggestions for how I should lay this out, I wanted to bring a longer video, and apologize for not doing more videos recently. But this is the shop, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you are not already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.